Gums, Minister of Finance, with a delegation to travel to Grenada and discuss the future of the monetary union of CBCS. Grisha Haliger Martin, Minister of Tourism. Carnival Season 55 reflection into a seasonal celebration. Firearms, each weapon removed from the circulation is a step towards. MPs on the District Councils of Parliament to discuss proposal for a community-driven district development fund for St. Martin. From the island, St. Martin, this is SXM Daily News for April 1st, 2026. Marinka Gums, Minister of Finance, with a delegation to travel to Grenada and discuss the future of the monetary union and the role and functioning of CBCS, speaking in Parliament.
Madam Chair, thank you for granting me the opportunity to address Parliament on a matter that strikes at the very core of our economic and financial stability. The current situation at the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin, the current tensions within our monetary union, and the implications of the Curaçao government's statement intention to withdraw from the union. I am sure, Madam Chair, that we all know the popular saying, it takes two to tango. The truth of the matter, however, is that after 15 years of a marriage of convenience, some might even say an inconvenience, it seems like one partner is now dancing to a calypso tune, or more appropriately, the St. Martin rumba, while the other is doing the tumba. Whatever happened to the tango, then, you might ask, Madam Chair? That is the million-dollar question I am attempting to answer in this address. This is therefore not a routine briefing. We find ourselves in a moment of national significance. The decisions we take together in the coming days, months, and years will shape the financial architecture of St. Martin for decades. They will determine how we safeguard our financial stability, how we protect our banking sector, and how we ensure that the savings and pensions of our people are secure. I will, as usual, Madam Chair, speak candidly, plainly, and as clearly as possible. I will outline the legal foundation of the CBCS, assess how it has functioned since its establishment, identify the controversies that have plagued it, and address the imbalances that have characterized our monetary union. I will also explain why, in my humble opinion, Curaçao is now signaling its desire to exit the union and what mechanisms exist for such a dissolution. Finally, I will detail the proactive steps the government of St. Martin is already taking, including the imminent establishment of a dedicated task force to ensure that our country is fully prepared for all possible outcomes. The legal foundation and establishment of the CBCS. Madam Chair, the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin was established on October 10, 2010, following the dissolution of the Netherlands Antilles. However, both Curaçao and St. Martin has agreed to its establishment since November 2008. Its legal foundation rests primarily on the Central Bank Statute for Curaçao and St. Martin, 2010, the National Ordinance on the Supervision of Banking and Credit Institutions, the National Ordinance on Foreign Exchange Transactions, all the above anchored in Article 38 of the Kingdom Charter that states, and I quote, 1, the Netherlands, Aruba, Curaçao, and St. Martin can make arrangements among themselves, and 2, by mutual consultation, it can be determined that such an arrangement and any amendments thereto shall be established by Kingdom Act or General Measure of Kingdom Administration. The main points of the CBCS statute can be summarized as follows. Purpose and agreement. In the negotiations leading up to 10-10-10, the island territories of Curaçao and St. Martin agreed on November 26, 2008 to establish a joint central bank and related regulations. The bank is set up as a public legal entity serving both countries. The currency and monetary policy. As per said agreement, there will be one currency area with a single currency, which is now the Caribbean guilder. The currency will have a fixed exchange rate relative to the US dollar. The core responsibilities. The main tasks of the CBCS include the monetary supervision, economic oversight, integrity supervision of the financial sector, stability and oversight. The bank also ensures external value stability of the currency and health of the financial system, including managing foreign exchange reserves and ensuring a sound and efficient payment system. Madam Chair, after the dismantling of the Netherlands Antilles, and specifically the Central Bank of the Netherlands Antilles, the CBCS was conceived as a joint institution, reflecting the principle of equality between Curaçao and Saint Martin. In theory, it was to serve both countries independently and impartially, with balanced representation and shared consensus decision-making. In practice, however, the experience of the past 15 years have shown that the structure and operations of the CBCS have not always reflected this ideal. How has the CBCS functioned since 2010? To be honest, Madam Chair, I can only give the CBCS a mixed performance report from its establishment. But to understand this properly, we need to take a good look at its governance structure. Governance structure of the Central Bank of Curaçao and Saint Martin, the legal status. The bank, as I have said before, Madam Chair, is established as a public legal entity jointly owned by Curaçao and Saint Martin. Decision-making. All decisions are made on the basis of parity between two countries. This is to ensure equal representation and influence in governance matters. Very critical to this issue of parity is the process of making appointments to the Supervisory Board of Directors, the chairmanship of the board, and to the management board, among others. Supervisory role. The bank is charged with monetary supervision, which managing currency and monetary stability, economic supervision, monitoring macroeconomic conditions, and integrity supervision, ensuring ethical conduct in the financial sector.
Grisha Haliger Martin, Minister of Tourism. Carnival Season 55 reflection into a seasonal celebration, we now begin to shift our force to one that is more than just inventing this culture, it is an expression. It is a community. Economic activity across the island is speaking at the COM press briefing on Wednesday.
We now begin to shift our focus to one of the most vibrant defining moments for Saint Martin, our Carnival season. Carnival is more than just an event. It is culture, it is expression, it is community, and it is also an important driver of economic activity across our island. As part of Carnival 55, the Ministry of Theatre is proud to introduce Bacchanal Boulevard along the Pondfield, featuring 40 booths that will help bring back the lively carnival energy so many of us have loved, know and love. We also want to extend our sincere appreciation to Koiman for once again partnering with government through the Koiman Corner for their continued support and contribution to the booth holders this season. We encourage the public to come out and support the vendors both inside and outside of the festival village, and to do so responsibly as we enjoy the season together. To our vendors, I want to emphasize the importance of compliance. Please ensure that all required permits are placed, whether through TIAT, Justice, and/or VROMI, and that all necessary inspections have been completed, including fire, health, economic controls. Safety must remain a priority throughout the festivities. We are already seeing visitors arriving on the island, significantly for Carnival, or specifically for Carnival, which is encouraging. Let us continue to be welcoming, hospitable, and proud ambassadors of St. Martin. And all above, let us remember that this season is truly about culture, unity, and coming together in the true spirit of Carnival. As we gear up for the weeks ahead, I want to speak directly to our business communities and residents. Carnival is our time to shine. It is when visitors experience our island at its most vibrant, from music and food to our people and hospitality. That is why I encourage all businesses, large and small, to fully embrace the spirit of the season. Decorate your storefronts, brighten your spaces, and help us create the atmosphere that is alive, welcoming, and uniquely St. Martin, from the moment visitors arrive to the moment they depart. At the same time, I am calling on all of us to take pride in our island. Let us keep St. Martin clean throughout this carnival season. This is not just a responsibility for government or businesses. It is a shared responsibility. Whether it is properly disposing of waste, maintaining your surroundings, or simply greeting visitors with warmth, every action contributes to the experience we present to the world. This is a friendly island. The carnival is our time to demonstrate exactly why.
Political question in nature. I don't know if the community has seen. If you take a look online, you'll see that there are correspondences from the Board of Tourism towards the Minister of VSA's response. So all I'm saying is let the community go and read those correspondences. I'm sure that you have seen them, but what it really does indicate when things reach that level is that there's political tension. There are all kinds of talks already about people gearing up lists for parties, and the Minister of Tourism has the details.
A political tension. There's all kinds of talks already about people gearing up lists for parties. And one of the conversations I had was about your husband, Theo, whether his time is coming to an end in Point Blanche, but also whether he has a ban on entering politics or not. Can you confirm? My understanding was there was no ban on him re-entering politics once his time is finished.
Well, I'm going to say this, like I said it before, the most important thing for us as a family for when Theo finally comes out, and a date is still unknown to us, is a time of healing. That's going to be the most important priority for us as a family, that he heals from this, because it's been much from 2019 to now. And I can confirm there has been no ban of him able to run, but that's something through the healing and reflection. That's something he would have to decide on his own, and I can't be able to speak on his behalf at this point in time. But healing will be the forefront of his welcome home when he finally gets back home. So that will be up to him to decide, not me at this point. I can't speak for him.
The police force of St. Martin, KPSM, is currently investigating an altercation that took place on Backstreet on Tuesday, March 31, 2026, shortly after 11 a.m. Central Dispatch received several calls reporting a disturbance in the Backstreet area. Patrol officers were immediately dispatched to the location, where they encountered an ongoing altercation involving two male individuals. Upon intervening and conducting a preliminary investigation, officers determined that the incident stemmed from a parking dispute. During the confrontation, one of the individuals, identified by the initials CLC, allegedly struck the other party in the face. French tourist. The suspect was arrested for ill treatment and transported to the Phillipsburg police station, where he is being held for further questioning. KPSM reminds the public that violence is never the solution to resolving disputes. Individuals are urged to remain calm and seek peaceful means of addressing conflicts. The investigation into this incident remains ongoing.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
Today's, along with imitation firearms, each weapon removed from the circulation is a step towards reducing risk and improving safety. I'll repeat that guns have no place in our community, and I encourage those who may still have an illegal firearm to take advantage of this opportunity and support the safety, said Minister of Justice.
I would like to begin with a brief update on the ongoing gun amnesty program. To date, 5 firearms have been surrendered, along with 1 imitation firearm. Each weapon removed from the circulation is a step towards reducing risk and improving safety. I'll repeat again that guns have no place in our community, and I encourage those who may still be in possession of an illegal firearm to take advantage of this opportunity and support the safety and well-being of St. Martin. As we enter the Holy Week period, I want to extend my best wishes to all who observe. This is a time that holds meaning for many in our community, and I encourage everyone to enjoy the period responsibly and with respect and care for one another. I also want to take a moment to address public gatherings during this period. We encourage everyone to remain safe and be mindful of their surroundings as activities increase across the island. And for those of you planning events, it's important to be reminded that public events are required to be compliant and also require authorization. Before you promote or host any public event, make sure that you're fully compliant with the law. And under Article 37 of the APK, as we call it, all public events, performances, concerts, and large gatherings require a permit from the Ministry of Justice. And also, as a reminder, religious observations do not require a permit. Mullet Bay Beach is expected to remain a well-visited location during the Easter period, and I would like to remind the public that parking along Rhine Road is prohibited, as this creates safety risks and it also obstructs traffic. If you're parked alongside Rhine Road, you will be towed. KPSM will be actively enforcing this. As we move closer toward the carnival season, preparations are already actively underway. We're working closely with our French counterparts and have requested additional support from our Kingdom partners to ensure that we are well prepared for the carnival period, especially since this year we have 3 weeks of carnival instead of the traditional 2. Enforcement will remain firm throughout the season. Individuals who fail to follow lawful orders or engage in disruptive or unlawful behavior will be dealt with accordingly. At the same time, I want to emphasize that public safety is a shared responsibility. We're asking the public to play their part, to look out for one another, and to enjoy the festivities in a way that keeps our community safe. Turning to another important priority, there are several vacancies currently open within the Ministry of Justice. We're currently recruiting 2 leadership roles, our head of judicial affairs, and also we're looking for a new head of our immigration department. On top of that, KPSM is also recruiting a new class of police officers, and we are also recruiting prison guards for the new Point Blanche prison. I want to encourage those who are interested to come forward and apply. And you can find additional information by visiting the Ministry of Justice Facebook page or the KPSM Facebook page. The deadline for those leadership positions that I've just mentioned, Director of Immigration and Head of Judicial Affairs, is April 10th, while the other recruitment efforts will remain ongoing for the coming time. Finally, I also want to give a brief update on our Detention Sector Reform Program, the DSRP. In recent months, the ministry has continued to advance the program through targeted initiatives focused on strengthening how our detention system operates. This includes workshops bringing together justice, education, and social sector partners to improve learning opportunities within the detention environment, as well as efforts to strengthen case management, assessment, and coordination across the system. We've also continued to invest in resilience and more effective approach, along with a delegation of his, where we engaged in constructive discussions on prison reform and cooperation across the island. During that exchange, we shared St. Martin's approach under the DSRP, while also gaining valuable insight into the French side's perspectives and ongoing considerations, including their exploration of a new facility. We gave them a tour of Point Blanche. We gave them a presentation of where we have learned along the way in terms of how to structure a project like this. So I think that was a very meaningful exchange. And we look forward to continuing these discussions with the French. And we want to, and this just reinforces the importance of maintaining open, practical dialogue between both sides of our island. And this also comes at a meaningful moment, as just last month we marked 378 years of the Treaty of Concordia, and we also signed a hot pursuit treaty, which is now on water, different than what we already have on land. Both of these reflect the French and Dutch shared commitments to safety and security on this island. We will continue to build on this cooperation in practical and constructive ways, and all these steps form part of a broader effort to improve our systems, strengthen our institutions, and support more effective rehabilitation outcomes. This work takes time, and while there's much more ahead, we're moving forward steadily and with the support of our partners.
MPs on the District Councils of Parliament to discuss proposal for a community-driven district development fund for St. Martin.
I brought a motion forward for St. Martin Day, decorate the districts, and this falls exactly in line with a project like that would have brought funds to the districts to be able to not only decorate, but come back to that sense of pride of making sure that where you live looks the way you want it to, and where you sleep, which is your bed, So I definitely applaud the initiative, 100% behind it. What I would definitely like to see happen is that in every community, so every district council, that there's a proper registration, administration of everything that is done with those funds, and a call on, for example, in St. Peter's, my district, 2-3 years ago, I sought to gather the support from some of the business community to put back and fix the playground in St. Peter's, and maybe even put cameras that our kids could be safe, but also that no one destroys, and nothing became of that. I was told, yes, there's this organization and this one, and eventually nothing happens, and it still looks deplorable. So these are things that would definitely help, and we'll be able to push our district and get our kids in safe environments playing like how we used to do, Madam Chair Lady. We could have played on the street and not worry about a bike knocking us down or anybody on the corner doing something that they ain't supposed to be doing. So I applaud this.
Because we live right now in communities where we see people living in isolation. I have never seen so many incidents of people being found dead in their homes. That is not St. Martin-like. That is not how we have been as a community. So I think that with this initiative, for sure, in getting the communities involved again, getting back to the communities, that we could have a sense of no one left behind, and no one left without us knowing that they're alive, without us knowing that they're okay, without us knowing that they had something to eat. I mean, where I grew up in was French Quarter, but there were a number of people who came down by us in the night, and they always knew that they had something to eat, something warm, and then they would go and find their way to their home. And we don't have that anymore as much. And we see where some people who come together and try to do it, some of those people are not around anymore, and people are falling by the wayside. So again, I welcome this initiative. I also know, Chair Lady, that the Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs a couple of years ago they were doing counts in the neighborhoods, and they were registering who was in the neighborhoods and what they needed, etc. So that too we can find out from government
how far that project is. Did the project stall, or because that there was a wealth of information already about the communities, and also identifying who were the leaders in the community, who to go to, and besides that initiative, I was wondering about the actual. So when we invite the St. Martin Development Funds, if we should not also, and maybe a subsequent meeting, sit at least with some of the heads of the community councils that exist already. And I had a question too, Madam Chair. In the beginning, you mentioned funds, and my question was, where would the funds come from? Thank you. Which budget, sir?
And indeed, I was very enthused by the prospects of the social registry. That's what you are referring to. And I was disappointed that it didn't take off the way that it was supposed to do. A lot of the ideas in terms of district improvement was kind of put off until this social registry project would have been completed. As far as I know, despite my questions about it, I haven't seen anything regarding the finalization of a social registry. So indeed, it would be something for us to find out the status of Yes, so I wanted to just comment on that part of your comments, and then you ask about the fund, MP Johnson, and with a structured plan in terms of how community councils are to operate, that there is a legal basis for community councils to exist. The funding, then this Parliament can be very clear on the proposal and approval of funds from the budget, for starters. That's definitely one possibility. And we would not have the kind of ad hoc allocation of funds where it pertains to improvement of our districts. Secondly, MP Lacruz mentioned businesses. I think indeed the focus of businesses should also be on the community in which they operate, and that should be another way of funding. And I mentioned public-private partnerships, and all of this, I think, is attainable if it is clear on one, what it is we or they want to do in a community and how they account for whatever is started, whatever is being carried out. So once that structure is in the concept of outlined here, it would be clear for everybody. You have a project, you know how it is managed, and you have to give account for what you're doing. And that kind of administration is what should be put in the hands of an organization on community level.
Now for the weather forecast. Tonight through Thursday evening, variably cloudy with isolated showers, surface winds. Tonight through Thursday evening, east-northeasterly to easterly with a light to moderate breeze at 7 to 14 miles per hour. State of the SEA, slight to moderate waves/swells, 3 to 7 feet. Outlook through Friday evening, partly cloudy and breezy with isolated showers possible. And now your 3-day forecast.
SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your MySXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social health insurances.
Recently, the Ministry of Justice, together with its implementation partner, the United Nations Office for Project Services, UNOPS, welcomed the new prefect of St. Barthélemy and St. Martin. Cyril Louvelli, his chief of staff, Marie-Hildegard Chauveau, and representatives from the Agence Publique pour l'Immobilier de la Justice, APIJ, for a working meeting focused on prison reform and opportunities for strengthened cooperation between the French and Dutch sides of the island. The meeting aimed to foster dialogue, exchange technical insights, and explore areas of mutual interest regarding correctional infrastructure initiatives underway on both sides of St. Martin. During the meeting, Minister of Justice Natalie Tackling provided historical context of St. Martin's correctional reform trajectory and the developments that led to the current reform efforts within the detention system. The minister outlined how international rulings highlighted the need for structural improvements, placing St. Martin on a path toward comprehensive reform. Antigua and Barbuda has updated its special economic zone law, placing strict new financial rules on both new and existing operators, ABC News.
Once gazetted, anyone applying to develop or operate a special economic zone must provide detailed information on who they are, who owns the business, and where their money is coming from. Licenses will only be granted to applicants considered fit and proper and able to comply with anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism laws. The latest amendment explicitly ties SEC operations to compliance with key domestic laws that address money laundering prevention, the prevention of terrorism, and the prohibition and non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Existing operators and businesses already inside the SEC must also meet these stricter requirements within 6 months of the bill's passing. Operators are also required to put systems in place to detect and prevent illegal financial activity and must cooperate with authorities such as the FSRC, police, and tax agencies. The amendment further reinforces that special economic zones are not separate from government control. Customs, immigration, police, and financial regulators all retain full authority inside the zones. Regulators have also been given stronger powers to inspect, investigate, and enforce compliance. The law now explicitly bans unlicensed financial services and unauthorized digital asset operations within SEZs, and getting a license to develop a zone no longer means a business can immediately begin operations. A separate permit is required, and all financial compliance checks must be satisfied first. A government-appointed committee will review each application, assessing ownership, financial health, and any risk of illegal activity. Despite the stricter rules, the government, however, still has the option to offer tax breaks and other incentives to attract investment. The amendment marks the 4th update to that legislation since 2015. Alicia George for ABS News.
This is our SXM Daily Newscast. Thank you for joining us.